Oh, Padawan, I might be going to Evo Japan because I got a freaking,
Really?
I got to end. I got to end. I might be going to Evo
How are
Japan
you going
because
to Evo Japan?
you know they go put the Black American on stream. Then you know they go put especially if I start winning.
Let's go. Hey, bro.
Alrighty, so stream is up and everything. Now everyone can hear you. So we're just gonna get into it. Go ahead and just introduce yourselves and like start talking, start yapping.
Hey guys, I'm the Evil Padawan. I play Harang, and yeah, that's pretty much it. There's nothing else interesting about me. That's about it.
Hey, what's up, man? I'm Black Pharaoh, Raven specialist. Whenever Shinobi Kun isn't there, I'm the best Raven you've ever played. So that's my title.
Damn.
But I've played Haze.
I was already thinking that. I was thinking, what about Hayes? Is he like?
Well, Hayes is like our grandfather at this point. He's grandfather Hayes. You know what I'm saying?
What about
Granddad.
I Am Fury?
I'm better than him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no,
We
100%.
might have to
And
see
he would,
now.
and
I want to see
I
now.
think. Oh no, I think he would be reasonable enough to say, you know what I'm saying, I'm better than him, you know what
Oh
I'm
yeah.
saying? He's not I'm not saying he's a great representative of the Ravens nest, but no, I'm better than Fury.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
and El Negro and Hayes are like our grandfathers, you know what I'm saying?
What
And
about
they've passed the scrolls.
what
They've
about
passed the scrolls down to the next generation.
what about avoiding the Roy?
I've never heard of him.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Never heard of
I
him.
think I have
yeah.
actually. I think that's. Oh wait, that's Glaze. You're talking about Glaze.
Oh really? Oh okay. Okay. Okay.
Oh, that dude hates me.
Oh
You know.
really? I didn't know that.
So yeah, back in the day. Now you got me started. Now you got
Oh
me. Now you got
no.
me beefing.
Oh
And the old
no.
beefs. I'm gonna keep it short. But so if we're talking about Glaze 20Z, so this guy back in the day used to plug on Death Hit. Ranked in
Oh.
Tekken 7. He used to plug on him like crazy, bro. Death Hit would send me the shit like all the time. And I'm like, bro, you got like post up online or something. And he's like, man, this shit is ridiculous. He plugs on me like all the time. So he posted it online on Facebook. Back in the day, it was
Oh, old
in
stuff.
2017, 18, it was all about like Facebook groups for Tekken, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he posted it online. And Glaze comes in and starts lying. He's like, "Nope, I didn't plug, man. That's bullshit." And people are backing him up. They're like, "Oh no, Glaze a known player, man. He wouldn't do that." And they were like attacking Death Hit. They were like turned on him.
Oh
It was
wow.
crazy. And then so get this, Northwest Majors 2019 comes around and it's a huge event, right? We got Jimmy J, we got Anakin in Seattle, we got Cuddle, Shadow, Speed Kicks, Peeling, everybody's there, and Glaze comes too. And Glaze pulls, and I'm obviously hanging out with Death Hit because we're always hanging out. And he pulls Death Hit aside, and I'm there too, so I like tack on. And he goes, "Hey man, listen, I'm so sorry, man. Yeah, I did plug on you all those times, but I can't admit that online, man. They're gonna eat me alive,
Oh
man.
no. Oh no.
They're gonna cancel me, man. You know the online crowd, they're crazy, man. Now I'm so sorry." And Death Hit's like, "Well, bro, they turned on me because they thought I was making false accusations." And I was like, "This is crazy." And I was like, "You got to come out with this." He's like, "Nah, man, I'm apologizing to you, like man to man. I'm telling you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about all that. I won't do it again. But nah, I can't come out with it." And it's like, so ever since then, like years down the line, I would always bring it up. This dude post anywhere in like a Twitch chat, anything. I'm like, "Oh, it's the plugger. It's the plugger." And like years later, he was willing to like openly admit it, but nobody cared at that point because first of all, nobody even knows who the fuck that guy is anymore, and second of all, there's like so many pluggers these days that nobody even gives a shit. But it's just like an unfortunate scenario. But because of that, he don't like me anymore. And I always like run money matches and stuff with like Junior, and he's always hanging out with like Junior and Shadow. And so when Junior and Shadow came to my hotel room, he was like outside. He like split with them. He like left, and I'm like, bro, I wasn't gonna kick you out. And he's like, nope, I don't want to be around people like you. It's like,
Oh, well, that's just reality of life. You're always gonna
people
have
like
people,
me who don't
you know,
plug. Like,
you're gonna have people like that, no matter.
anyway, so that guy, he a nobody now. He doesn't even go to tournaments. I haven't heard anything about that guy in like a very long time.
Mm-hmm. All right,
But
so
I mean, it's whatever.
yeah, so let's go through. Uh, I want to hear you guys' thoughts. What was it like on the flight, and then when you landed? When you got there? What happened? What was the first thing you did? Right before
What
day
happened?
1, right? What happened?
Snow happened immediately.
Snow
Like
happened.
you like land, and it's like whoa. Right, Pharaoh?
I think like whenever I landed, well, I always go straight to the hotel, and then I go straight to the actually it was like I was feeling really really sick because I actually went to the emergency room like the day before.
Oh shit!
I was having I forgot I had did that, and like I was, even though I was disappointed with my placement, I forgot. I was like, well, I did go to the freaking emergency room the day before,
Oh
so
my god, both you and
so
Padawan
that was
went there sick. Holy shit!
yeah. Well, no. I was having some like pain over a long period of time, and I finally got it diagnosed basically. So it didn't nothing changed. I just figured out what was the problem. So I'm glad I got that figured out. But when I landed, it was weird because I actually felt really really for a totally different reason. Like I felt really not. I felt really really kind of like sick for about 3 or 4 hours, and I think it's funny. My sister was traveling at the same time, and she said like she was in Colorado, and I've heard like sometimes when you change altitude um drastically, it can make your body feel very uneasy,
Yeah.
very very not regular. So
Oh yeah.
I think it was just an altitude thing, because it was about 3 hours. Normally I would have went straight to the venue, but it was about 3 hours, and I felt better, and I went right over there to the venue, and um played some games over there, and trash talked, and
Did your
stuff like
stuff?
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, it was you land and it's like there's a lot of snow, so that was exciting. But for me, I was hanging out with Epic and Elbow, the two brothers from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So Epic came over, man. He rented this crazy Tesla.
Oh yeah.
I was like, Gene, you didn't have to do all that for me.
uh,
But
uh,
he rented a dope Tesla so we could get around, in the snow and everything, all-wheel drive and all that. And the charging situation was so funny, man. We were always on low battery, and it's like we were pulling up to pools on like 2% battery. Thank God there was a charging station at the Target right next to the Frosty, but we were sweating on that. It was like, dude, shut off the headlights, shut off the radio, bro, because it's electric. So like everything has an impact, right? When you got a
yeah.
gas car, you're not worried about headlights. When you're on the electric, it's like shut off the headlights, man.
Pharaoh. Ruth Sanctuary says motion.
Oh yeah, you know what? Usually I would think, and I might be wrong. So I've been on cruises, and like
I think
yeah,
that one's
I would
seasick.
think
That one's seasick.
yeah, well, I would think motion sickness happens while you're in the motion. I was done. You know what I'm saying? I was done, and I was stable. Like, I was fine on the plane. When I got done and like into the hotel, that's when I started feeling sick. So you might be right. You might be right. It's not like I've traveled more in the past 2 or 3 years, but you might be right. And it did subside. It did go away after 3 hours.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you might be right.
Okay. So how long was the tournament, you guys? It was like what? 2 days?
It was a
It
day
was
and a
4.
half. It was
Well, the whole thing is like 4 days, but like yeah, ours was like 2.
Oh.
Yeah, so the cool thing about Frosty, right? And dude, when I get into it, I have so many negative things to say about Frosty this year. I'm gonna let Pharaoh be the nice guy. I'm gonna be the evil guy today, but I really fucking hated so many things that they did. But the one thing they got right was the venue's 24/7, which is just amazing.
They sure
So
did. They did get that right. That is right.
Okay.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
So we started on Thursday, which is amazing because every tournament you go to, Thursday's badge pickup, and then
Yeah.
you get going on Friday. But these guys, they opened up casuals on Thursday night, and it just went
Yep.
24/7 all the way to the end, and that part was incredible.
Yeah.
Um,
I
so
agree.
they killed that. But the Tekken tournament part itself, so all pools were on Friday. We started at 10 a.m. and it went all the way to 10 p.m. Which Elbow had an 8 p.m. pool, so I had to kind of stick around late. And then top 48 was the next morning at 10 a.m. again. So that part's not ideal. It's not ideal to be playing until 10 p.m. and then you get a 10 a.m. pool. It's not great. It's doable and it was fine, but
Hmm.
yeah. I mean, do you want me to get into all the complaints I have? Because I got a lot.
I mean, tell me about some good stuff, and then tell me about some bad stuff. There's nothing wrong with it. Maybe
Yeah.
there's something that
I'll
can be
say
learned,
I'll say
right?
some good stuff. I mean, they definitely missed on some like really important other things, but um, and I gotta remember, Frosties is not, and I had to remind some other people. I'm like, Frosties is not a Tekken tournament. It's not a Street Fighter Tekken tournament like every other major and other tournament kind of usually is. You know what I'm saying? And Tekken players are not used to being the add-on. They're used to being the main event. You know what I'm saying? So we got it. There, Frosties is a Guilty Gear, Grand Blue anime tournament. You know what I'm saying? So,
Oh,
so anyway, I just that because we were in this we were in the second kind of side ballroom. We weren't even in the main ballroom. So,
oh, you guys were just like
I,
shuffled on the other side. Okay,
Right.
okay.
no,
Right.
no.
Right.
They could have did that to us. They didn't. They gave us a decent space. They gave us, they gave us a stage, and they gave us, a place where we can be spectated and stuff like that. Everything in terms of what would be what could have happened. It was fine. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure you've been at like some of the tournaments. There's some really smaller tournaments that they kind of just put in a different room,
Yeah.
and all you get is kind of a small projector or whatever it is. They gave us a real.
Look at the
They
Smash
we
tournament.
they did not
Look at the
they
Smash
did not just
tournament.
shove us in a
It's
room.
it's at look at the Smash tournament. It's at the cinema hall, and you guys get my uncle's garage.
Right, right.
Dude, yeah, kind of. That's kind of
Right,
what
right.
happened.
It didn't feel like that, so they didn't do us bad. I was
Okay.
really happy with that. I never went into the main ballroom, so I didn't get to see the difference because it was never like I didn't even go in there for top eight. I actually stayed and played casuals. But yeah, man, I thought it was cool, man. They gave us a decent space. Um, you know, they had, like you said, the 24-hour thing is huge because CEO wasn't 24 hours, and I was really disappointed with that. I hope that changes this year. But like, yeah, and
That's
I
a
think Evo isn't 24 hours either. So like, it being
nope.
24 hours is one of the things that makes Combo Breaker one of the best tournaments you can go to. So they got two really really big things right, and I was happy with that.
Mhm.
It's a Chicago thing. The only two that are 24/7 are Frosty and Combo Breaker. But so
No,
let's talk
you're right.
about that. So Combo Breaker, and this is for the listeners. I want to clarify the definition of this because a lot of people get it wrong. So here's how it goes. A major is a tournament of bigger size that has international players. And I'll give you an example. Evo, Combo Breaker, CEO. Those are majors, right? You can also classify them as Tekken World Tour Master events or Master Plus events. Regionals are huge tournaments, much bigger than a local and much bigger than a monthly, that usually
Right,
gather the best players in a country.
right.
So examples of that are Frosty, Texas Showdown, PAX, DreamHack Atlanta. Those are all
Right.
regionals. You're usually not going to see an international. You might see one or two randomly because, and so those regionals, though, out of all those regionals that there are, Frosty is the biggest one. Okay,
Yeah,
Frosty is the
yeah,
biggest one. It has the biggest attendance. That's why you see, the big dogs out there too. So my issue with this being the biggest regional, right, and it's also the shittiest regional I have ever been to, and here's why. So here's why Pharaoh's experience and mine were a little bit different. they had a huge issue with the temperature inside. And what was happening was, because they put us in a smaller ballroom and there was a shit ton of consoles and a shit ton of people, it was hitting well above 100 degrees inside. I mean, like, it was crazy, man. People were not just sweating and stinky, but every third person was telling me they're about to pass out. It was legitimately like a health concern, and people were like going outside to cool down. We were trying to stay by the AC vents, drinking
Really?
lots of water, and then somebody spiked the fucking water too.
What the fuck?
And it was like, dude, oh
Yeah, that
yeah,
was crazy. That was crazy.
yeah. So that was like
I
a
was
thing.
drinking
So
that water.
they weren't keeping an eye on their water properly. But so here's the issue. So it was getting so hot that so Black Pharaoh, his pool was at 10 a.m. So he had the first pool. So the event starts and it wasn't stacked with people yet, and the consoles hadn't been running for 10 hours. My
Yeah,
pool was in the middle of the day. And when I got there, and you're coming from outside, right? So it's snowing outside. It's dead winter. And so everybody's wearing, heavy clothes. Everybody's wearing heavy sweatshirts, jackets, heavy pants, heavy
The whole
boots, heavy
shebang.
socks. Yeah, and then you come inside, and it feels like 120 degrees. And when you sit down, the PS5 is pointed backwards, so the back of it, the heat is blasting you in the face when it's already hot as hell, and it was fucking unbearable. I mean, it was a true test of like concentration for a lot of us, and it was really really difficult for me to like actually focus on the Tekken matches because I was dying. My hands were sweating, fingers are sticky. It sucks, man.
Yeah.
It was horrible, and it's a legitimate concern. They should have honestly propped open a door and just put a person there, like one of the exits, because there was a bunch of doors in that ballroom that were like emergency exits. Could have propped one of those open and just post up one of your guards, post up one of your volunteers or whoever, just near the door to watch it and make sure that people don't, and barricade it. Put a big ass cone there. Put like a little thingy. Like, they had stuff. There were options. And I think on Sunday they actually did kind of lightly
yeah.
prop open one
They
of the
eventually
doors.
did. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I could have told you to do that on like the first 30 minutes. Anyway,
It
so
made
that
it
was
made a difference too, but it was a little late.
yeah, it was a little late. So that was an issue. Then here's the second issue, right? So I judge tournaments by obviously the conditions, meaning like, hey, are you keeping your air conditioning tight? Are you keeping your heating tight, or are you making us suffer? So they failed that. The other thing I judge a tournament by is the stream, right? Like, hey, do you have like a proper stream?
Oh
They did
yeah,
not. They put no respect on Tekken, despite having almost 400 people. That where they streamed like the first pool or two of Friday,
yeah,
and then they said fuck it, and they didn't stream over 90% of the pools.
yeah,
So nobody got to play on stream, and it's like, come on, dude, you got people flying from all over the country, and it's obviously a huge tournament. Like, definitely, we put up numbers close to 400. Like, for sure, put this on stream, man. Like, figure it out. Like, you have the equipment. If you got I would never complain if it's not on the main channel or something, but make another channel, dude. Just stream it anywhere, like
Custody
anything,
side of it.
anything. And it's not like we didn't have the commentators. We had Foxhound. We had a bunch of
yeah.
guys
We
there.
had some, we had some really good. I'm not gonna lie. The commentators aren't always great, but like the Foxhound is great, and whoever Foxhound was with, I was really happy with too. So they had some good commentators.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not like we didn't have the people for it. So they failed us on the playing conditions. They failed us on the stream part. The one thing that also they failed us on, the other thing I judge tournaments by is the setups themselves. And they dropped that too. So they kept those crappy in-zone monitors. Now that Sony doesn't even own Evo anymore, we're still sticking with these crappy 12 to 13 millisecond input lag monitors. And not only that, but their PlayStations were overheating so much they were dropping frames. I could see them dropping frames
Yeah,
and
that
having, and
did happen.
they even had a freeze. They had one of them actually froze, and they had to replay the round because they were overheating and crashing.
Oh my
So
god.
Combo Breaker, their fellow Chicago tournament, was swapping consoles after every pool. So 2 hours. Every
Yeah,
PlayStation was in rotation for 2 hours. And then
yeah,
some of the guys were discussing. They were like, "Oh, we could restart them," and I'm like, "That's not gonna help that like melting processor.
Nah, they need
Like
to
you
cool
can,
down. You know?
Yeah, so it's like you're failing on your internal temperature, and then you're failing on swapping the consoles. And I know it's expensive, guys, but shit, dude, we had multiple days. Like, space out the pulls. Then, if you don't have enough consoles, then you don't need to be running that many pulls at a
Right.
time. Space it out.
Right.
Utilize Saturday a bit more. Top 8 were finished at like 2 p.m. on Saturday. Come on, man, we like figure this out.
You
And
have the
so
time to split them up between the days. You're just squeezed. Yeah, facts. If you don't have the if you don't have the resources, then don't squeeze it all in one day, right?
yeah, stretch it out. We have the time. So they put us in the crappy small ballroom. They didn't maintain the conditions. They didn't maintain their setups. The only thing that really saved them was they had really good TOs, like always, like Maya and Dame
Oh
and
yeah.
all those guys. Like they had the solid classic volunteers, the type of people that always save our community and run our community, the type of people we can always depend on. They were there to save the shit. And so at least the brackets were ran properly. It was organized. There was no, weird controversies. And the one controversy that happened in the team tournament between Joe Crush and Ali Handal was handled perfectly,
We'll get to that when
because
we
it
get
was.
to that
They
point.
could have
Talk
jumped
about
on it a little faster. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, it did get handled. It did get handled.
Yeah. So what
Well, no,
happened
we
was,
can get to that later. We can get to that later. Yeah, yeah.
Hold on a second.
yeah, what ended up happening was it was the team tournament was first to one,
Oh,
and this was winners finals, I believe, and it was final round, and Ali Handal was he had Joe in a combo, and then when Joe got up on the Oki, Ali did a grab, and like Ali popped off to like celebrate. I don't know why, and his controller unplugged, and Joe didn't even have the opportunity to break the grab. And then, Ollie was saying like, "Oh no, like the grab hit you before, I unplugged," but they actually did a rewind and they paused it, and it was like very clear that the moment like his grab is coming out, he unplugged, so like Joe never had the chance to like break it. So, that was a DQ, and that was fair. So they handled the one weird moment, which wasn't even their fault, very well. But otherwise, man, I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with the temperature. I wasn't happy with the setups. I wasn't happy with the ballroom. I wasn't happy with the lack of stream. I wasn't happy with how they split up the times. There's just so much that could have been done better, and there was just so much unpleasantry. Obviously, watch your fucking water. Don't let people, spike the
yeah.
water. That's
Hey,
that's
have
crazy,
someone
dude.
volunteer to watch that because if someone's spiking it, that's like legal issues for you. You know?
Yeah, that's insane, man. Especially with we have a history of bad stories of harassment and rape and weird stuff. Not only at tournaments, but just overall in this country. It just happens. There's really sad, tragic stories where people get drugged and you don't know. So and you don't know who's gonna follow you to your room or where they're gonna follow you. What they might put in. It's a mess, and it's a mess from a competitive standard too. Like if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
put like a bunch of alcohol or something, you're like, and it's hot as hell in there, right? So everybody's like trying to get some of that water, and then like if all of your opponents are drunk, like what?
So Ruth Sanctuary says again, they say something, they say we should have had someone taking the consoles outside cool down.
Yeah, take them out in the snow, man. Shout out Ruth.
Right, right. That's funny you say that. Like I didn't even think about that. Like we have the cool down area right outside. I didn't even think about that. It wouldn't have been hard to sit them mugs right in the freaking. That's a actually a great and really quick. It would take 5 minutes for them to do that. Somebody would have to be doing it, right? But it wouldn't. That's funny that you say that because like they wouldn't even have to have a whole nother like combo breaker, have a whole nother set of like side consoles to switch out. They don't even have to do that. They could sit them in the snow. I didn't even think about that. That's a great idea.
No. You don't want to sit in the snow. Moisture. You just.
And I mean, even if you, like I said, even if you just spaced out the pulls and put a 30-minute break period in there, and you just shut all of those consoles off for like 30 minutes,
Oh yeah.
you would do wonders. And obviously, we had the time because, like I said, we finished at 2 p.m. on Saturday. So if between the, how many pulls were there? Let me see. And there weren't that many pools. Let's have a look at these brackets. So there were 16 pools. So that would be an additional 8 hours. Oh, how perfect. So if you add 8 hours to 2 p.m. on Saturday, that's 10 p.m. And that's exactly when we were shutting down the games the previous night. So you literally, instead of shutting down at 2, could have just went on till 10. Yeah, that would have given a 30-minute break for all the consoles. It's like, all right, the pool's over, shut off all the consoles, give them 30 minutes. It would cool down the area, it would cool down the consoles, and it's like, I don't know, man. We need people to think of the shit. It's not that difficult.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of I wish it could have been so much better. I enjoyed myself so much at this tournament, but it wasn't because of the way it was organized. It was because the Chicago community is goated, the Tekken community is goated. It was really just it was carried by just our amazing players, commentators, TOs, and those guys, as opposed to whoever, set up the scheduling times and had the decision making and all this other stuff, because they dropped the ball real bad.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's my take on it. Enough ranting. But otherwise, yeah, man, had a blast just because I really truly love the Chicago Tekken community, man. Those guys, dude, I have such amazing footage for you that we're gonna post up. We were doing these money matches, but they weren't. So the thing that's amazing about Chicago is Michigan's right there, right? So you've got Uncle Caps and the Michigan community, like Flo God and all of them, and L Train. And dude, those guys are so loud. I don't know if you've ever seen that clip where it's like somebody's getting fucked. That's those guys. That's
Oh, is that where they're from? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's those guys. And so I know if I'm ever playing a Michigan dude in tournament, I better be wearing headphones because they are too much, man.
Mm-hmm.
And so Uncle Caps is out there causing a ruckus, man, and they love going at it with the Chicago community. And there's so many money matches. There's so much beef. Anytime I'm in Chicago, you definitely you see it's a part of the culture, and I adore that shit. And so, but what we did this time was obviously we had our regular money matches, and Black Pharaoh played in a bunch of them. He did great. And then we did a special type of money match that was a no heat, no install money match.
Oh, I
And
missed those. I
Please
saw
tell me
y'all.
you
I
got
heard
that
that
on
that y'all was
stream.
doing that.
oh
You got
man,
that
people,
recorded, right?
yeah, we got that recorded. We're gonna post up. People are loving that. Like the first one was Gene versus Bone Figure, and then we did Elbow versus Mayor, which was super hype. And so how it worked with Elbow versus Mayor, what we came up with is, so round start, they both heat burst cancel, and then they back up to range 5. They blow their heat smashes, and that's it. And so there's no heat. So that way you can still use the moves that are engagers without worrying about engaging into heat.
Right.
The only thing was there was no installs allowed. So you just have to be careful. If like a move had an install, you just like make sure to not use that. And that's something maybe we can work on. But it was amazing, man. It started looking like real Tekken.
Mm-hmm.
They were like spacing. They were like poking more. They were using more down forward twos. It looked tight, man. People loved it. It
Yeah,
was
that's
good.
always fun, right? That's always fun from what I know and I like. I like that more tight, chess like Tekken. But let's talk. I want talk me through your mind, okay? Day one, Frosty Fausting, Tekken 8. Pools just began. What happened with both of you?
Well, so Pharaoh started the day first, so he can
Yeah,
he
yeah.
can
So,
do the.
What happened?
I started. I started early. Um, I don't sleep super well like the day before whenever I have a tournament. So, luckily I kind of you know, started to get some rest a little bit earlier. Like maybe around 10 o'clock instead of maybe 12 or whatever it is. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, I think I got some good rest. I also kind of wake up kind of early, so I was up at 6. Um, I try to warm up before I go to the venue, because I don't really like you can warm up at the venue, but it's not it's not consistent, right? You might not warming up with somebody that's not very good don't really help you. You know what I'm saying? So you might not find somebody that's really good, or you know or they might have like a combo breaker. They'll shut all the casuals down. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't get there super early, then you're not gonna get casuals. They
Why you
shut them
always
all
have a
down for
buddy?
uh
You always bring a
You
buddy.
said what?
You always have a buddy, right? You have
Oh yeah,
friends.
yeah, that's a
You
good
both.
idea.
Oh, listen.
But sometimes you,
Hold on.
if you're traveling alone, like
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna wake Padawan up to freaking, get there at 10 o'clock and he gotta play at 8. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to, do that. So, you can have different pool times. It's not the most consistent, right? Reliable. So
You
I try to do some drills in my own room before I go there in case I don't get any warm up. So
you bring
yeah,
a
that's what I did. And
PlayStation. You bring a Steam Deck. You message, hey, I need warm up. Wants to hang out, and then you'll see what happens. Maybe someone will show or they won't.
right, yeah, no, that's a good idea. But like I said, sometimes and I also like try to if I am playing a certain character or somebody that I'm not super comfortable with, I'll relook over, remind myself of frames and things to like not be so quick to press on or whatever it is. That always helps. So,
Yeah.
like if I'm playing Leo and I know I'm playing the mayor, I might be like, make sure I don't do this. Look at the frames on this.
Hmm.
Something like that. I'll check that. So,
Okay.
but that's what I did, and yeah, man, I did really well. At least that day I did really well. I got to play Shadow on stream. That was fun. That was my first time playing Shadow. Or
Ooh.
at least in tournament. I played him online a long time ago, but like that was my first time playing him in tournament, and
Congratulations.
um, we had a really good set, man. I think it was really really close. And most importantly, the commentators were hyped. And I had a lot of people really on edge. They didn't know who was going to win for a little while,
Oh
so
yeah, you were on
that was
stream.
fun. Yeah, I was on stream. Yeah, man, I was
Okay.
on stream. So because I was, they only streamed the first pool, which was like A1, A2, A3. So I was in A1 at the very beginning. So I got to be on stream, and yeah, so they got, and that I think like what Padawan was talking about. Joe Crush didn't get to be on stream. He was in B1 or something like that.
Mm.
So he was right next to me. So, but yeah, I got to be on stream.
Oh, congratulations.
And it was a really good
Did
set.
you wear the triple victory hat on stream?
No, I didn't know. I did not. I did not wear the
Uh,
I didn't know anything about it beforehand. I did miss that. No, I didn't.
oh, it's
I
okay.
didn't think I saw Padawan before that.
It's okay.
I didn't see him till that night. So I didn't even have the hat yet.
Oh, that's
Um
okay. No
but
worries.
no, I got you. But yeah, man, that's about it. That's my preparation. And I did well that day. I lost to Shadow, and then the day two was then I lost like my first game
Hmm.
and on day two. So that was the end of my tournament run.
Okay. So, what about you, Padawan?
Well,
Day one. Talk about day one.
I'm super. My favorite people on the entire planet to warm up with are Epic and Elbow.
And they were both there, so
Um,
that's very good. I know
uh,
about those two. They're really fun.
they were both there, so they play so different too. Their styles are just perfect for warm up because Eugene Epic is like one of the most patient players in existence, right? So you get to
Epic's
play against
the
that.
elbows to Brian. Epic plays Lee.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Lee, he's famous for how patient he is, and Elbow, on the other hand, is a very aggressive but incredibly fundamental. So he's gonna clean you up.
Oh
So if
yeah.
you're bullshitting, he's gonna kill you for it. But also, he plays much faster than Eugene, so you get like the best of both worlds. And so my best tournaments ever, my best performances ever, have always been warming up with those guys. And so at Frosty, I got the opportunity to do that. The issue there was we get to the venue and I started fucking overheating. Like the first match, it was okay, but then it starts playing, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I'm sweating, and like I felt more nervous because of that. Because pun intended, it's hard to keep your cool when it's that hot in there.
Yeah.
Like, you can't keep your cool. And so early in the morning, it wasn't an issue, and that was kind of the thing for top 48 is I didn't have that problem because it wasn't so high yet. But later on in the day when we arrived, it was ridiculous, and we were also still like, we didn't expect the conditions, right? So it's kind of like the first match was like, okay, I got through it, but man, this was kind of crazy in here, and then like I started fucking overheating, and the following matches, it was hard to lock in and focus on the screen. And then when things were happening, it made me feel more like panicky, and I don't know. I wasn't responding or thinking as clearly. And obviously that's inexperience playing in those kind of conditions. That's something that's difficult to prepare for. I actually was prepared if it was really cold because I bought really warm clothes and I had hand warmers. So I was ready. I was absolutely ready, and I absolutely have experience playing in cold conditions.
But
And one of the advantages,
too ready for the cold, not ready for the
yeah,
heat, right? You're like
100%,
you were going to war for this, and the next thing it's like you're like, it's wintertime. I'm getting ready for this. I'm ready, and you're in the fucking Sahara. What the hell?
Yes, dude. It was not just the opposite, but it was a complete extreme opposite, where like you go from this like freezing cold winter inside, and then you're like overheating. And Gene was like epic. He's like, dude, you playing like nervous? Like, what's going on? I'm like, dude, the heat is fucking killing me. And he can relate because the worst tournament Gene ever had, where he went like 0-2 or 1-2, was when CEO had a broken air conditioner. And it was in
damn.
yeah, and it was like 100 degrees outside, and he's telling me, he's like, dude, I can't play, and it was like, it's too hot, we were dying in there, and it makes everybody stinky too, man. Like one of my opponents in pools was like, it was kind of stinky. I had to move a little bit more to the side, and I was like, I can't even blame the dude. It's fucking hot in here. Everybody's sweating. Like, you know, I can't at this point. You can't even blame people. It's preposterous. But anyway, I did drop a match to, and I don't want to be like the salty guy, but I did drop a set to someone I wouldn't usually drop a set to, which is fine. It happens. Upsets
Go
happen.
ahead and say his name, cuz. Say his name, bro.
Okay,
Go ahead.
wrong.
You know the saddest part, I don't even know the dude's name. I don't even know the dude's name. That's how ridiculous that shit is. But I dropped the set, and then I had to take a moment. I think I told the teal, like, give me a second. I'll be back, okay? And I had to just like reset my mental, and it was like, we are not going down like this. It's not happening. And I had to reset. I took my jacket off. Everything. It was like short shirt, and I tried to stay cool. I went by. I found an AC vent, and I just started standing by it. And I was like, we're gonna just calm down here. I'm gonna cool off and just reset mental. And Gene, he always wants to help, but he like comes over and he's like, bro, I can't believe this and this match. And I'm like, nope, that match is over. We gotta lock in on the next one. We're gonna win the rest of these and just keep it going. And it sucks because looking at the bracket, and I love Seich, man. I love Seich, but the last time we played a showdown, I 10-0'd him. And then, we played at the team tournament too, and I beat him there at Frosty. But he got out in winners, and it's a tough pill to swallow because it's somebody that it's a favorable matchup, it's a favorable opponent, and it's like, man, if I didn't sell that early one, I could have got out in winners. It could have been a different run, blah, 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 whatever. But at that moment, I just cleared my mind, right? And it's like, we just got to get through this losers bracket. And we did, got through it. And it's funny, the guy that beat me ended up losing to a Panda player that I beat. And it's cool, man. The Panda player that I was playing, he's from Doc Massacre scene.
Oh, shit. Shit.
I noticed he was always getting second right behind Massacre, so it's always like them in grand finals.
You we were talking, man. Doc is
right. And so like I didn't know, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna bust out the tech anyway. So I hit a bunch of tech traps and jump overs on him and stuff, and he wasn't ready for it. And I was kind of surprised by that because Doc, obviously these are setups that he plays like that. So like I ended up texting Doc. I was like, man, your friend, he's so nice, but you got to show him the tech trap stuff, man. You can't keep being like that in your scene, brother. That's messed up.
That's scary, though. That's Doc we're talking about. That's scary. That is a cool dude.
You gotta show him the sauce. Yeah, I gotta show him the sauce. But yeah. So day one's over, and then in a shocking twist, and again playing conditions and everything. Dude, Elbow and Epic drowned in pools.
Really?
Two of Chicago's, yeah, they both drowned in pools. John 316 drowned in
Yeah,
pools.
you told me
We're
about
talking
that.
Yeah.
We're talking
Yeah.
about the best players of the Midwest.
Yeah.
We're talking like right after Shadow and Junia, it's like those guys, dude. It's like, and so Gene Epic, he's made top 8 at Frosty's 5 years in a row. Okay, 5 years in a row. And so for him to like drown in pools, it was crazy. And like I said,
Yeah,
a
that,
part
that
of
was
it is
very
just
unexpected. Yeah.
very unexpected. Part of it is how chaotic this game is. Right now, it's gotten to a point where people have been running the season 2 stuff for almost a year, and everybody has experience in first to 2 with ranked, and they're just like fearless. They just put all the buttons on the screen. They don't care what happens. It's not about consistency, right? They don't care. They're willing to take those high risks, and if you guess wrong, you might just die. So that's what Elbow and Epic and John, they're out,
The
and so it was a
machine that
weird
pulls
time.
the slot machine lever. Oh, the machine
Yeah,
that
it was
pulls the
super
slot machine
weird.
lever. Go ahead.
Super weird. And again, I think a part of it is just the playing conditions were not favorable for people. It made it just that much more chaotic, and we went back home, and of course the boys, man, true love, they didn't just say, all right, well, we're out, fuck it, nah, man, they stayed up with me. We made game plans. They helped with tips for the next day, and then they woke up early the next day to warm up with me. Even though they're out, they warmed up with me, drove me to the event. I mean, like, these guys are goated, man, like, for real. It's true love, true FGC love, man. And so we got there, and that's when I had to play Effect that day. For the Effect match, I talked about it off stream a little bit, but I was very scared to play Effect,
Really?
because yeah, very like legitimately, there's very few things that make me scared to play someone, but he has the quality of one of those things that makes me scared of someone, and that is when somebody knows my character really well, but I don't have experience against them. And so Effect has watched me play a lot, and he knows everything about Horang because his secondary is Horang, right?
Okay.
And if you look at PAX East, for the top 8 spot, he actually played against Tenno from Boston. They're both from Boston. So he's trained Tenno. He's Tenno's coach.
I did not know that.
And yeah, so he's trained Tenno since like Tenno started playing, and so Effect has really solid fundamentals. He does a lot of coaching, and so his secondary's Horang, and in that tournament he mirror matched Tenno, and it went to final round. So it was like, and I was watching his Horang, and it was super clean. He's doing like all the setups. He has like a deep understanding of the character. It's not like a random secondary, right? And so the reason I was scared is because one, he has Tenno as a training partner, so he has a shit ton of Horang experience, right? And then 2, he plays the character himself at a high level, right? And then he plays King, and King is scary, dude. King is very scary because, mix me up with a grab, put me in some chain shit, like, it's scary, dude. So it's kind of like it was all the factors that made me a little bit worried, but I actually felt very composed in the match because it's kind of like, although I'm scared, like I'm gonna do my best, you know what I mean? And what I just played him like assuming that he knows everything, so I wasn't knowledge checking him. And then I was more so playing, assuming he would make the right decisions, and he kind of did, and I killed him for it. And I guess when the Boston crew asked him, like, what happened? That's exactly what he said. He said, well, I feel like I made all the right decisions, and I died for it. And it's funny that we both described it that way, actually, because they asked me, and they're like, oh, that's exactly what he said. Yeah, so it's kind of like, I knew he was going to do the anti-Horang, and I know what to do when which is good. So that worked out, and then I had to play Swing Blitz. Really good Paul. Again, we were talking off stream a little bit, and he's a great dude, man. I really like him, and I'm really happy for him. He's gotten so much better in the last year because I used to match with him like online and stuff before, and he wasn't this good, man. He's really, in my opinion, right now, really truly become like the Paul of America. I think he's really solid, man. I think the kid's got a bright future. He's grinding really hard. Although I never want to lose, I have a level of respect and have no mental issue losing to someone like that, just because I know they're a dedicated player. I more so hate it when I lose to someone that I know there's no way I should have lost to. And I'm like, I need to do better than that. But with Swing Blitz, I know it's also like he's also a person I feel like I can also beat. I just got to make the right read and come in with the right game plan. So that's also like a part of it. Yeah, so like I'm not salty about that. It's just kind of like I feel like I lost to a fellow grinder, a fellow dedicated player. That's also really good, and just that shit happens. I do really wish I had made Frosty top 8. Like I said, I went there with the goal of making top 8.
Always next year. Always next year.
Always next year, man. So yeah, I'm at a point where if I'm going to regionals, I want to make top 8, and it's tough on the mental. It used to be so much easier when I first started out because the goal was just to get out of pools, right? And then like you get out of pools, and it's like I did it. I'm so happy, and like that's all. And now the expectation, not just that I have of myself, but you just kind of see it when everybody's talking to you, and it's kind of like, did you make top 8? You're gonna make top 8, right? And it's like, oh Jesus.
Yeah, now it's like kind of like peer pressure, right, going on mentally, right? It's like I gotta meet these expectations, right?
Yeah, I'm at the point where when people see me going to a regional, they expect the top 8, and it's like if I don't get it, it doesn't even matter who you lose to. They're just like, oh, you didn't make. Oh, okay, all right, not a good run, I guess. And it's like, damn. The expectations are high, and that part's frustrating. But it only gets higher and higher from here. So I got to get used to it, and I got to accept that not every tournament can be the best run. The game is very difficult. And I just have to take in one tournament at a time, man. So when showdown comes around, the expectation is the same. I want to make top 8, and if I don't, there will be a level of disappointment. But we got to try. So that's all it is, man.
All right. So day 1 did well. I put in losers though. Day 2, you guys both got put out. Okay. So, tell me, day 1 ended. What did you guys do? Day 1. I want to talk about day 2. What you guys did
day
after.
1 was long, man.
Like when right?
I had to play the next day, so I went to sleep.
You just went to sleep. You just went to bed. You immediately went to
Yeah.
hotel.
I actually stayed there as long as I could to watch the rest of my friends' pool. So
Okay. How
I had
were
a
your
couple
friends?
of guys from Houston that showed up.
How were your
I
friends?
wanted to get Epic and Elbow, but I missed them.
Ah.
I missed Padawan too because they all played like super late.
Okay.
So from 10 o'clock, me staying all the way till 8 was really hard. It was tough. I stayed till like 4, and I had to clock out. So but yeah, man, I stayed as long as I could to watch as many pools and support as many of my friends as possible.
That's always good.
And then I went to sleep because I knew I had to get some rest for the next day. So that's all I really did.
Okay. What about you, Padawan? What did you do?
And yeah, I mean, he nailed it, man. Keith is experienced. He's a real professional at this shit, and that's the correct answer. I always tell people because there's always the dude on Saturday that shows up fucking hungover, and it's like, what happened, dude? And oh, dude, we were partying last night. It's like, what do you mean? You knew you got top 48 on Saturday? What, just because you got out of pools, you thought this shit's over or what? There's always the people that make the mistake of like going hard on Friday, either partying or hanging out with people too late. The correct thing is get out of your pools, get your sparring partners coached and out of their pools, and then run back to wherever home base is and strategize and plan for the next day. That
maybe like orange juice.
Quickly,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to do the going out part on a Friday. So that's the tricky part. You don't want to commute to the food. You don't want to take too long eating, ordering. No, it's got to be something quick. And it's got to be something quick. Friday's not the time to cash in on that stuff. That is when, yeah, you got to get back to home base quick. You got to start looking at replays. You got to start looking up your opponents, planning for them. Usually it's harder because usually we got to worry for opponents for all three of us. This time it was just me, and that was kind of like sad in a way, because you kind of, I mean, I definitely enjoy the group preparation for Epic and Elbow's opponents as well, and kind of like sharing experiences and being like I helped Elbow with his match with D-Spec for pools. We prepped on Thursday night because looking at the bracket, I knew he was going to play D-Spec, and D-Spec plays Hwang, and Elbow fucking 6-0'd him
Oh
because
shit!
we had a solid game. Yeah, we had a
Did he really?
very solid game plan for that going in, and D-Spec was really frustrated, but it was like, nah, dude. Like I told him, I was like, this is what D-Spec does. Let's watch some D-Spec. This is what D-Spec does. It's like, this is what you're gonna do, and it just, dude, it worked like a charm. So I love that shit. I love preparing my homies for their matches too. Doing it together as a group is really helpful because you might not know one matchup, but they do, you know and that stuff comes in really clutch. But Friday night is when you lock in on opponent prep, because on preparing for your pools is a lot different because first of all, there's too many people in there. And sometimes upsets happen. So usually you might be able to prep for like one opponent. Usually look at like the top seeds or whoever in your stuff are. So like, for Black Pharaoh, that would be Shadow. So he's like, oh, like I'm definitely going to be playing Shadow, so I got to prep for Shadow, but you can't prep for all 20 people in there. But looking at your top 48, it's actually a lot more streamlined, where it's like, okay, I'm going to be playing for sure this person, and then it's going to be between these two people, and you can kind of lock in a little bit more. The problem is when top 48 and top 8 are in the same day. I also take issue with that because you get less preparation for top 8. It's supposed to be top 8 on Sunday. That way, pool Friday, top 48 Saturday, top 8 Sunday. Then you do the same thing on Saturday night. You lock in. But if you don't make that top 8, Saturday night is when you can really get loose. And we did because the tournament was over at 2 p.m. So that's when we started. That's when I started hanging out with Black Pharaoh. Started hanging out with everybody. We were running money matches. We were shit talking.
Good.
The Boston crew was getting drunk as fuck. Tenno was drinking a lot. Hungry Peruvian, all of them. They were having fun. People were bringing like these like Chicago special booze types and stuff that nobody had ever tried. And so we were having a blast on Saturday night. That's when you go out to start eating and stuff. And the crew took me to all the cool spots. And I actually hung out with the Seattle crew too a lot. We were telling stories of like EBM and Bravo and old FGC, and we went out to dinner. Everybody was there, man. I love seeing how together the Seattle crew is. I told them it's so fucking impressive. Out of all the crews, man, they're the most like they're stuck like glue, man. Beetle and Cutting Onions, all those guys, Raven Cowell, John Hopkick. Those guys, man, they stick together, and they're staying together. And we went out to eat, and I love those dudes, man. I love to see them, and they killed it. By the way, did you see what Cutting
Yeah,
Onions
they
did?
did. They did do good. I got my first time meeting them, and they did. It's funny because I hated Bill Nasty Beetle before I met him because I just hated him online because he used to get on my nerves when I was playing. But when I met him, I was like, "Oh, bro, he's cool." I still hate you.
He's cool as
I
fuck,
told him
man.
I still hate your ass though. But yeah, you cool in person.
Gin players, man, they be toxic. But nah, Beetle's legit,
Yeah.
man.
Beatles legit. Nice.
Beetle's dope as fuck, and yeah, it's just so fun to see them all cheering for each other. And Cutting Onions fucking killed it, man. He came out in winners, and then you played John Hammer, a legend of the Chicago community. He's moving back to that area now. Back in the day, I used to ask my friend who's like a super old school Fang player, like super OG Rokaru, and I used to ask him like, who's the best in
Oh, I
Chicago,
know
and he was always
Rokaru.
like,
I know
yeah, yeah.
Rokaru.
Yeah, so Roku used to live in Chicago, like way back in the day, like Tekken 5 and 6 and 7. And I asked him, like, who's the best in Chicago? And he's like, oh, dude, it's John Hammer. And then obviously, at some point in, Tekken 7, Shadow made a name for himself, and then it became Shadow. But for the longest time, John Hammer was Chicago's finest. And so Cutting Onions got to play John Hammer, beat him, and then he played
Hey,
Shadow. And and he took the first match off of Shadow clean, and it was like, oh shit, is he about to make top 8 winners? And then he was winning in the second match too, but Shadow, in typical Shadow fashion, just adapted, man. And sometimes this is what I kind of realized, and it's going to be a segue into the team tournament. But this is what I kind of realized about my own style too. If you look at my results, a lot of them are 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. A lot of 2-1s in this game. And actually, when I do coaching these days, what I say is, you got to put your buttons on the screen, and you got to see how the opponent reacts, and you have to adapt to that, right? But and that's what Shadow does too. Clearly, it's really hard to like 2-0 people in this one, if they're any decent anyway. And
That
so
is true.
Shadow got cutting onions with that, and then so when we played the team tournament, segue into that, it was me and BLAQ PHARAOH for 3xv, and then I realized I'm fucking abysmal at first to one because I need that first one with Horang as information gathering. A lot of my setups are like, I put a button on the screen, I see what you do, and then I respond. And I lost a bunch of final rounds in the first ones because I didn't have enough time to like figure out what they were doing. It was like, okay, they do this, let me beat this. Okay, now they're doing this, and it's like it's not enough flow. The way I play is not good for first to one. I realize that. So I'll have to think on the first to one format, and maybe I'll come up with like a game plan that works better. Um, but yeah, it's difficult. You just a lot of the times it's gonna be you only see this thing once and that's it. I'm gonna have to yeah I'm gonna
No,
have
that
to change. I'm gonna have to change some of my setups to not be dependent on information gathering and to just be like, nope, it's a fucking mix, like just straight up.
Gameplay
I'll
for first to one is gambling. I remember I watched the video JDCR when he went to a Kuma style tournament back during Tekken 7, and he fought against a Panda, and he said Panda in a first to one is dangerous. You don't have enough time to find out what's going on, right?
Yeah. Well, I was playing a June, and like he did like mid into low, and I was like, okay. And then the next time he did mid, and then he fucking did back three, like June back three, the launch punishable shit as a
Really?
mix, and he launched me, and he launched me, and now that I know the risk reward on that stupid setup, I'm not ducking anymore. Go ahead. Take the low, but if you ever pull that mid again, I'm going to fucking launch you.
You're
The
going
risk
inside
reward is going to be
out.
in my favor. But in the first to one, now random ass back three caught my ass, and that was game, dude.
yep, yep, that's game. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And
Alright.
it's like that's really really difficult. But like I said, it's just a different format. You just got to adapt again. You got to come up with a different game plan and that's actually a huge issue that I know a lot of really good Tekken players that just like really despise first to two. An example is Mr. T from Houston. He's like super solid. He loves long sets, and he loves it going on longer. Like he likes like first to tens. And he hates first to two because he's like, this shit is straight guessing. I don't think it is. I think there's you just have to be really like quick at adapting, and it's very difficult. And it's gonna come down to some like clutch decisions. But the first one is just a more extreme version of that shit. You're gonna have to control the risk reward even better. I really got to think on it. I've put that on my to do list to like think of like on the first to one format. Because a lot of these team tournaments are actually first to one. So
Yeah. It's a huge amount of or the consequence for not quote unquote controlling the pace of the round is very there's a big consequence for it if I mean, but like sometimes like if you're confident in your defense, very very confident, you'll let the opponent control the pace of the round. Like if I'm fighting a Dragonov, I will oftentimes let him control the pace because I'm not really scared of anything that's right. I know that he can, I know the consequences for getting hit or especially by certain things, but I'm not I'm very conscious of everything that he can do in certain situations, and I'm confident in my defense, right? So I'll let him control the round. But if you're in like letting I tell people like some characters you don't want to let control the pace, man.
Oh
You
yeah.
don't want to let a Leo control the pace. You
Nope.
don't want to let a Harang player or a Lydia player control the pace. You have to control the pace. So,
Yeah.
yeah, man. In those kind of situations, you kind of have to be in control. Otherwise, it takes one hit for the round to be over, and now you don't have a lot of rounds to spare.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, by the way, Black Pharaoh did fucking amazing in that shit, man.
Oh
He
yeah.
was killing it, dog. He was playing so nice. It was actually not just it wasn't just like it wasn't just that he was winning, it was how he was winning. He was like he had all these like super creative setups and they were actually a pleasure to watch. And a lot of back turn stuff, and I was actually explaining to the Seattle crew what he was doing because they had never seen it before.
Daily.
But he was going into back turned, right? And then he was doing a sway away, a back turn sway away, which there's a portion of the window there that puts him into full crouch. And so he's
Right.
swaying away in back turn and then either mixing them up with like full crouch sweeps, or if they whiff because he's now pulled out of range, he's like counter hitting them or like launching them. So he was mixing up kind of like, hey, I'm going back turn. Are you going to press or not? And if you don't, I'm going to mix you. But if you do, I might make you whiff. And it's such a beautiful style to watch. And it's actually the person that kind of invented it back in the day is actually Just Frame James.
Oh.
Because when Nobi and people used to come, and compete, they had never really seen a back turn where Law goes into back turn and you can't hit him because James, all of his setups were like perfectly spaced in back turn, so he could sway away. And Nobi would try to dick jab or standing jab, and James would like sway away and while standing too. And so that's the portion of the window that you get access to these like full crouch moves as you like sway away and back turned. And it's really such like a beautiful style to play, and it's very unique, right? It's not your typical like go into heat, run some bullshit.
Yeah.
And Black Pharaoh, a lot of people at this event, including Epic and Elbow, they were saying, man, he's gotten a lot better. Because he comes out to a lot of events, so even these players from across the country, they get to see him play. But this dude's becoming a real menace, man. And it was actually like
it was funny hearing people like I know I was like playing, but like I would hear people like it'd be hilarious like whenever they see something. I remember I played, which I don't want to, which luckily I guess it's lucky I don't remember his name, but I played that I played the Lydia player, man, and I don't remember if you had. I think I had to. Did you? I don't remember if I had to if you had lost already or if I had to free or if you had if I played first. Anyway, I played a Lydia player and they were like, everybody's scared of Lydia because she wreckers you and she I understand, she's scary, right? But
Very
I
aggressive.
was in back turn like 80% of the whole game. And they were heard Epic in the back. He was like, "What the freak?" He was like, "There's no way that." He's like, "I've never seen a Raven player play like this." And it was it's always fun to hear that. You know what I'm saying? It's fun to hear that, and it's kind of disappointing because that means a lot of Raven players aren't very good. Which that is
right,
the case,
dry. Yeah,
Um,
very dry.
yeah, they're not, or they're just doing like really they're playing kind of a high risk, high risk
High
like
reward.
rank kind of style
Yeah, yeah.
that doesn't really work in tournaments. So, but yeah, I heard a lot of people were like, just really kind of they get I mean, it's not a lot of Raven players, right? So like whenever you see one, like nobody's really everybody's seen what a good Devil Jin player looks like, a good Kazuya player looks like. They've seen what that looks like. So whenever you get a like a Xiao Yu or I like seeing Xiao Yu like a Xiao Yu or like a Raven or somebody that's really different. You like seeing what they do, right? So anyway, that was a lot of fun. But I'm not gonna lie, because Padawan let me know he was like, bro, I did have to. It was a couple of games. I had to. He made me do overtime. He was putting me in over during the
That's
TVT,
facts.
bro. I don't remember. I had to click. And one of the guys was like, "You're still in the tournament?" I think Epic after, I forgot which one. It was the first game. It was the first game that because I played after you and you had lost, and Epic came back because he had went up on screen, and
Yeah,
he
he
was
thought
like,
you
"You're
were
still
gonna
in the."
drop the ball. He
He was
thought you
like,
were
"You're
gonna
still in the
drop the
tournament."
ball.
He said, "What?"
He thought you were gonna drop the ball, but you carried the
Yeah,
fuck
yeah,
out of that set.
yeah. He was like, he was like, "You still in the tournament?" He was like, "Oh shoot, you freaking beat both of them!" And yeah, I had to. Yeah, I had to put in some
Hey,
overtime,
you're on
bro.
the
So,
stream video right now too, Pharaoh. You got Fighting
oh, is that
Shadow.
right? Oh,
Yeah, there
yeah.
you go. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good set. I really my goal was to freaking either get top 8 or at least top 16 or beat Shadow. And I didn't get any of them, so I was a little disappointed with that. But the 2v2 one, and Padawan, let them know about how you sabotage us. Padawan, tell them about
What
that. Yeah,
happened
tell them
there?
about that.
Here's the problem, right? The problem was Epic and Elbow, they're horrible at registrations. They were actually going to miss the entire Frosty. They were going to miss the whole Frosty. And I was like, guys, you know registration closes tonight? And they're like, oh shit, it does? And I'm like, have you guys registered? They're like, oh no, we haven't. So then like Gene registers at like, I don't know, 10 p.m. or something. And then like I'm like, Elbow, hello. You got to register, dude. And it's like midnight passes and I'm like, Gene, did he register? And he's like, I don't think so, man. Dude, I checked the list. This motherfucker registered at like 11:59. It was preposterous. And it was
Really?
like, there's so last moment. And then they didn't register for the team tournament. And then the team tournament was like open, and I think we were like there on the weekend of, and it was still open, and they somehow even missed that. But then I saw a good old Dennis. I saw a good old Dennis from Seattle walk by, and like Dennis is like a TO at like every single damn tournament. And I'm like, dude,
Dennis, what's his online name?
well, it's just Dennis.
Dennis. Yeah, okay. Hell yeah, let's go.
With a Z, bro. Come on, how do you
Bro,
not know Dennis, man? He's the GOAT.
I have to remember his face. Okay, I probably have met Dennis.
Oh, dude, he's absolutely the GOAT. He's a white dude with like glasses. I know that's super descriptive. I know, but anyway, so I see Dennis and he's like, "Oh, Padawan." I'm like, "How you doing?" Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, "Dude, can you do me a huge favor?" And like Gene runs over. He's like, "Oh, dude, Dennis. He's like, can you please put us in the team tourney?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, we can make something work." And so I fucking looked at it. And it was like Black Pharaoh and I were like 7th seed or something. So we actually had a bye. It was dope as fuck. And so they put Epic and Elbow in the tournament. They took our bye away and they put us against them first match. And this is how funny this shit is. Elbow was up all night. I mean, dude, I went to bed. This dude was up for hours in a labbing Raven. And I was like, because he was like, Potter, tomorrow I'm gonna beat your ass. And I was like, yeah, good luck, buddy. We know how that works out usually. And then like then he figured out. I was like, all right, Elbow gotta play Black Pharaoh.
Mike's having a bit of an issue. Check it really quick.
Is the stream down or are you good?
No. Your mic.
I think it might be better.
Yeah, I think it's better now. You're cutting out a little bit.
Oh, okay. Well, so basically, Elbow stayed up all night labbing Raven. And when I woke up in the morning and I was like, how many hours did you spend on Raven? And he goes, no comment. I'll never admit it. And I'm like, okay. It's like, you guys really want to win. And then, so that's what they did. I played Gene, Epic, and he got me, dude. And like, they had a plan. They had a plan and they got us. It sucks. It sucks because, I don't think we spent like I don't think Black Pharaoh was out labbing Lee and Brian all night.
No, not at all. Not a bit, bro. Not a bit. Oh, I was actually really surprised that because when he's like, yeah, man, he was up labbing Raven, and I was like, no way, no, it was not. No, you lying.
Dude.
And
4 hours.
I think he was telling the truth. I was like, are you serious, bro? There's no way you was labbing Raven. And I was like,
Dude, it was for
damn,
hours
bro.
because like I went to the kitchen to like eat some tacos and like he was labbing the back turn shit and he was like, "What the fuck?" This he was like so mad, and then like an hour later he's like still on Raven. I'm like, bro, Odell, I'm going to bed, man. Like, good night. He's like, good night. It's like I just hear him. He's like out in the living room for like hours. I'm like, what the fuck? But so they did great though, man. They got third. They did really really well. We still made top 8. We had to just kill it in losers, man. And like I said, Black Pharaoh was fucking killing it, man. He was really killing it. And it was fun. It was fun. There was one set. I gotta mention this, man. There was a dude. He put on like a Mexican wrestler mask.
Hell
Oh
yeah!
yeah, bro.
Hell
That
yeah!
Yeah,
guy was
dude. So
awesome.
so he puts on like a wrestler mask and he like hovers over me before the set and he's like looking down on me and he's like, "All right, man, let's have a good fight." And he gives me like a fist bump and I go for the fist bump and he pulls out, he
Oh,
flips me off and he goes, "Fuck
yo,
you."
Oh
And I'm like,
shit!
that was
"What?"
so funny.
I'm like, this is crazy. And then like everybody's like, yeah, man, you can't lose now. You're gonna beat his ass. And like he's sitting down
Yeah,
and he's like talking shit. And I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Like, this is the point at which I can't see behind the mask. So I don't know how old this dude is, but he's like also
yeah,
wearing glasses. So like I made the assumption, I'm like, bro, you're like a 40-year-old. You got like work on Monday. Like, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing at these tech and events with kids, man? You do this to all the kids or what? And he's like, dude, look who's talking. And I was like, this crazy. And like, but so he's like, all right, man. You know what? He's like, you're right. I'm sorry. And he like gives me
yeah,
like a hand,
yeah.
he gives me a handshake, and I go for it, and he pulls out again and flips me off. And I'm like, no. And everybody's
Yo,
like,
he
damn,
got him twice,
twice,
dog.
twice.
Oh my god,
I
that
was like,
was so
oh,
funny.
fuck. And then, like, we went into the match, and we actually had, like, couple of really good, like, duck reads. And he actually took me to the final round. But I beat him. I beat him. And then, like, at the end, we did an actual, I actually got him this time. I fucking pulled out. I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
nope.
yeah.
But he ended up actually taking off the mask, introducing himself, saying it's all for the fun and stuff. And we followed each other on Twitter, and he was like, "Dude, GGs," and so that was really fun, man. That was fun as fuck.
That was
And
actually one of the guys that like I got to meet a couple of really really cool people. I got to finally meet Cyrax, so he was really cool. I got to meet a couple of really really good guys. He was one of the guys I was like the happiest, or like that was like unexpectedly, right. He was one of the guys I got to meet that I was like I look forward to seeing him at Combo Burger because he was hilarious.
he's funny, man. That
There's
was
not a lot
funny,
of
dude.
really funny dudes. There's really, really not. There's some guys that's all right, or in the tournament scene, but he was freaking hilarious.
Yeah, that was really good, man. And he actually is a really nice guy. That's what makes it fucking even
Yeah,
funnier.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that was a blast. And then we got into top 8, and I honestly thought so. I thought everybody in
I
top
thought
8
you were
got
gonna flex it
medals,
out, bro.
right?
I thought you were
I
gonna freaking flex it out,
I know, man. I thought everybody in top 8 got medals, and so then we had to play the Mayor and Seich next. Mayor got 4th in this tournament in the singles, and Seich got 9th. So a very good team. And dude, like it came down to you know, I ended up beating Seich, and then it came down to like Mayor and me, like final round. It was like 2-2.
bro. Yeah,
Oh man.
man.
And I lost it. It sucks because I know what he does. He does a lot of like sidestep right duck, and I was like realigning. I even realigned a just frame skyrocket and hit him with it, and I could tell he was like, "What the fuck?" But I knew he does a lot of that, so I was playing around it, and I was in my offense was working, but so was his, and that's kind of the problem that I ran into. He had me at the wall, and like I knew that Leo wasn't like overly plus there, and I could like dick jab him, right? And so I did a dick jab, but he fucking sidestepped it and just like wall splat the fuck out of me for like crazy damage, and
Yeah,
that was
man.
it. And it's like, damn, a dick jab will just
Yeah,
kill your
he
ass.
brought him. It was 2-2. I think it was 2-2 for me and you, and it
Yes,
was
sucks, man.
it was close, dog. He did one freaking like Leo, like I think it was a he dash combo to carry you to the wall. I was like, I've never seen Leo do that ever. I was like, what? There's only been one other player where I was like, it was who's the bear player? Sour Piggy. He did a bear combo. I was like, what the freak? I was like, I've never seen wall carry like that. So yeah, and Mayor did some crazy like tech that I've never seen before. Um and he did it to him. So yeah, I mean, he played. Hey, bro, I really thought. I thought Padawan was gonna clutch it out, man, because we was fighting for it. We made him work for it. I can't even be
Man,
mad. We made him work for it.
it's so funny. In all of my heart, I believed I was gonna win that. You have no idea. If you could have been inside of my mind when I sat down to play him, like in my mind, I was like, I'm going to win this. Like, there's no fucking way. I'm going to win this. I know exactly what to do. I'm so fucking ready. And then I lost. And it's just like first to one is such a bitch, man. And the mayor's really good. I legitimately think he's the best Leo in America because, Pepper Beef. He's not like competing like that anymore, and
Yeah.
Tekken 8 is not really his style. Wayne Gamble's washed. I'm sorry, friend. And then like I don't know. There aren't many other good ones. There's Dapper, and I didn't know who was better between Mayor and Dapper, but kind of like looking at the placements and the history of the Mayor's placements, it's significantly better. Dapper's hardly traveled yet. He's still young, and Dapper
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
DQ'd out of this event. And then I was like, let me check the waiver between those two, and it was like, dude, it was insanely heavily in Mayor's favor whenever they've played each other. So I would confidently say, despite a lot of people that would disagree, that the Mayor is objectively currently the Leo of America. It could change. It could change in the future. Dapper could do his thing.
The only thing
Uh,
that makes Mayor kind of like not the Leo of America is because he plays so many different characters. That's the other reason.
He does, but he always goes back to that Leo. He'll like whore himself out
Yeah,
to like Shaheen and other characters, and he'll like complain about Leo. And at the end of the day, he'll always go back to Leo and always do best with Leo, because he's cursed to be a character specialist, and he just like understands that character really well. But cutting onions also, man, another Leo, right? And in the future, he might take that title. We just saw him get ninth. It was really funny when Cutting Onions was playing Shadow for Winners Top 8, and Cutting Onions was 1-0 up. The mayor walked by me, and I said, "Hey, man, if you want some Leo tips, look up at the screen, watch Seattle play." He thought that shit was funny. He was like, "Yeah, man, that kid's cooking. That kid is cooking." Um, yeah, man. And I actually, Cutting Onions, he's a very, very shy dude. And he was actually asking me, he's like, dude, my one problem is he's like, I don't know how to like ask people for games. And me being the super obnoxious, loud, fucking annoying guy at every
Hype
event,
man.
um, I just started getting him games. I was like, yo, Black Pharaoh, money match Cutting Onions right now. Man, $30. I got $30. And they actually ended up playing, dude. And Black Pharaoh actually ended up winning 3-2, this fucking beast. But Cutting Onions was having a
Oh yeah,
blast,
that
dude.
was that Leo player. Oh yeah, I forget. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dog. Yeah, and behind us was Uncle Caps from Michigan, and he was talking all that shit because he also had some money on Cutting Onions. Yeah, it was fun, man. It was fun. It was a
Yeah,
blast.
that second day was good. That second day was good. If I luckily I don't know what day the water spiking thing happened. I don't know when that happened, but like um outside if you were just in the room, at least for me, if you were just in the room playing the games, everything was cool. You know what I'm saying? There's some logistic things, like, not to go back to the beginning, but like there's some logistic things that 100% can be done better. And sometimes logistics translates into like a experiential like lack. You know what I'm saying? Like unfulfillment. But
Yeah.
in this situation, like I think even though there were some logistic holes and things that weren't done the best. I think if you're like from just a grassroots, hey, we in here playing games. I think it was fun. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the 24-hour thing. They had great food. I want to talk about that. I didn't get any, but like I've never seen like food be prepared. Like they had early they had food in the morning, and they at about 5 or 6 o'clock they had like full-fledged like dinner out there
Oh,
that you
really?
could buy and like eat. It was like I was like, bro, this smelled good. I was like, it was legit. Every day they had a whole like dinner serving period of time where you can go and get food. I was like, that's awesome. So hey man, Frosty gets a freaking thumbs up for me. They got some stuff to improve on, but Frosty gets a thumbs up for me. This is my first one, so
There you go. Okay.
No, facts. They did have some a lot of food. They actually did have a shit ton of food. So yeah, that props up for that always. But yeah, man, I definitely want to go back. I'm just hoping they figure out the, like you said, I like the word logistics. I hope they figure that out. But otherwise, man, I had a fucking blast too. Ultimately, that's all that matters. Speaking of food, holy fuck, man! Epic and Odell took me to some really good spots, man.
There
Like,
we
so I'd
go.
never
This is
tried
the important part right
Portillo's.
here.
I never tried Portillo's. That shit is legit as hell. It is delicious. They also took me to like a hole in the wall like taco place, and dude, trust me, all my roommates used to be Mexicans. All my friends used to be Mexicans. I've been to like 5 trillion taco places. This one was one of the best I've ever had. It was holy smokes.
oh really? Oh
Oh
wow.
my god, it was so fire, dog. And then you know where else we went? I was really surprised. We got a really kick-ass casino in Seattle and Snohomish called Tulalip. Dude, they got a casino out in Chicago that shits on that place. I mean, there's it's like Rivers. That's what it's called. Oh my god, multi-floor, incredible casino with like so many roulette tables and craps and blackjack and oh my god, they had everything. They had fire food. Oh man, we went twice. We hit that casino on 2 different nights. We hit it on Saturday night and we hit it on Sunday night. It was
Damn.
oh my god, and I made some good money. I made a total of $250.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, really
Hell yeah.
happy about that. I actually ended up giving some of the money to Epic because he lost. He lost about like 150, and I felt really bad because he's hosted me and he's taken me around and driven me everywhere and done all this. So out of the 250 winnings, I actually gave 150 of it to Epic just to get his money back, that he lost because I also dragged him into that casino. You know what I mean? I was like, as soon as I saw they got a casino, I was like, you gotta take me, bro. So I kind of felt at fault. But anyway, so I got some winnings. I got his money back. I felt extra good. So all the
No,
good
that was
vibes,
fine. That
man.
was cool of you, bro.
Hmm?
I'll say, yeah, no, that was cool of you, man. That was cool of you. And I'm glad
It
they
was,
hosted
it
you.
was a
I
good
just
time.
wish I would have been able to come over there with you guys, because I was gonna come and warm up and get some games with y'all, but I ended up staying. So next time, oh for because we got combo breaker, and
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
why I didn't try to marinate too much on you know my slightly unfulfilling run this time. It's a first tournament of the year. Not even TWT 26. You know what I'm saying? So first tournament of the year. Um, I try to put it in perspective that this is like practice for combo breaker. This is practice for combo breaker, and Padawan's going to be at Texas Showdown. I want to be. One of my biggest goals is to get top 8 at Texas Showdown, and I totally fully plan on making that happen this year. Um, I might be able to go to Evo Japan and and CEO. All this is how it starts. So, I try to just and this was good practice. We had some good people. A lot of people were off their game. A lot of people were off their game. Joe Crush said he's like I was doing some um he definitely didn't. Nobody planned on him losing in pool. So but he had his losers run. So like Joe Crush had a slip up. A couple of people did. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people were slipping up. So this is when you get your this is when you tighten up and get ready for the TWT season. So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Uh.
I wonder how much the temperature was at play when Joe lost that shit. You know what I
Ooh.
mean? Like, dude, who knows? Offline is crazy, but it is crazy to see him lose to someone and then the other person didn't even make it out of pools. Like they lost. Like shit,
Yeah,
man.
that freaking and the thing is funny, man, because like there's characters. I tell people because I play with some casual guys that like to kind of play casually, and I tell them like they think I'm being kind of like not fanatical, but like eccentric whenever I say like they think I'm exaggerating when I say like I'll say like I shouldn't have gotten hit by at their level. I tell them like you guys shouldn't be able to do anything to me, like hit me or like not like not get hit at all, but like get any like significant damage or like I shouldn't be able to. You guys shouldn't get around on me, basically, something
No.
like that. And they think I'm like, we know you're a tournament dude, like, but we could still. I'm like, no, y'all don't understand. Like, yeah,
No,
or y'all
I
don't
understand.
understand like why it's important
I
because
understand.
when it like no, well, no, yeah, right. I'm saying like they don't like in a because you're gonna get people that aren't very fundamental or aren't very smart or whatever it is, but they got some weird kind of play style and
Yeah.
they get away with it,
Yeah.
right? And that person will throw if that you it's a first to two, man. That person will throw you off your game and you'll be like, what the freak? And then all of a sudden it's 1-1. Now you're like now you're nervous because they play weird and you're not, now you know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden you're in losers in the pools. And you're like, and that person of course is not going to get out of pools. They're not going to get far because he's not fundamental or he's not very smart, right? So, but he knocked you out. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to be that person, boy. You do not. And Joe was like, I can't believe I lost. And I told him, I said, bro, you know what to do. And I was like, you already know what to do. And he was like, yeah, and of course he still made his losers run, but that person knocked him out. You don't want to be that person.
It's really funny. In Tekken 7, I used to have like a training regimen, and I used to send a lot of these matches and clips to friends like Lorange. And what the drill was, it was this: I would go into quick match, and I would play Horang, and the rule was I cannot attack, so I can never start offense first, and then so the only thing I could do was use movement. I can whiff punish, I can block punish, and I can duck punish. But if I get a standing punish, like let's say they do something punishable, and I punish, I can't continue offense. It ends there.
Yeah.
So I could exclusively defend. And I used to go on like 20, 30 win streaks in quick match just doing that. And it was exclusively just neutral movement if they whiff back three, and then just block. They have to come in. No keep out. I can't play keep out. I can't down forward two. I can't jab. Fucking nothing. You can only move. And I used to beat the shit out of people. I tried that when Tekken 8 came out and I got my asshole blown out. There's no way. You can't do it. Because anybody, no matter how bad they are now, can have good enough offense and your movement is limited.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
and you
it's tough.
I'm a
It's
good
definitely tough.
I'm a good example in this regard because I'm super fucking defensive sometimes, right?
yeah.
I'm like movement and everything, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, your movement is amazing. Your patience is amazing. Your fundamentals are solid as hell, and it's really difficult. It's really, really difficult. It doesn't work anymore. But that used to be how you get through pools, bro. It used to be in
Yeah,
Texas. I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna backdash a fuck ton. I'm not gonna overextend. I'm gonna whiff punish the fuck out of them all day. I'm gonna outbeat them in neutral. Like none of the methods I used to use in early pools work anymore. I gotta go in, and they're doing nonsensical stuff that doesn't always make sense, and it's like super fucking high risk. And if you're not careful, you might slip up because they're
you might get hit.
simple.
There's certain mixes you got to take, cuz, and that's why you gotta. It's almost like the opposite. You want to freaking Um, it's hard for Raven to do that because he's so high risk. But if I was like Dragonov or Claudio or somebody that is has a very low risk, high reward offense, I would be super aggressive because if you don't know how to deal with it, then like you don't want to let the other person play the game. You don't want to let the other person play the game. Um, and Yeah, up until like you get to the higher, like better people, kind of like I think like me and Shadow's set was a really good example of that. We were taking it was some like not to like talk about me again, but like at the end of like I think at the end of the second game and the end of the third game, um, we were very like we it bro, now that I'm thinking about it, it looked like Tekken 7. Now that I'm thinking about it, it looked like Tekken 7. We were like it was the last hit, the next interaction wins the game or whatever it is. And it was a dance. It felt like I said, it felt like Tekken 7, but you're not gonna get that kind of um good neutral kind of, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying, high level back and forth in pools. You're just not gonna not until like winners of pools, not until you're like getting out of pools, you're not gonna do that. So you might as well run your offense and make it oppressive as possible if you have that kind of character. and kind of just because you don't want to let him play the game because he might have some weird play style. He might be really good at giant swinging or mixing up his throws, and he's king. And you're like, now I gotta. He's just throwing just to throw. It don't matter when it is. He's just throwing like that'll throw you off your
Oh
game.
yeah, well.
Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Or he's on a stage that helps him out and gets some combo damage. Like, bro, he's doing unblockables with Yoshimitsu. You're like, oh god, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, you don't want to let him play the game, bro.
But you know what you said, you don't expect that kind of play and pulls actually transitions into the next point, which is my final complaint. Oh my god, the seating was so garbage, man.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah, I
so
remember you telling me about that too.
first of all, when I went to like Evo, and there's like 4,000 people, right?
Ugh.
And it's like every Korean, every Pakistani, every European, every American, every Japanese player, like all the top players from all over the world were there. They seated me 81st, okay? This event seated me very close to that. It was like 70 something. And we certainly didn't have any of those players there. But forget me. And the fact that I had to play that Panda player who's always in grand finals, with Ling Massacre. Forget that. They didn't seed at all. We're talking 300 something. Swing Blitz, the Paul of America, GOD 2 or 3
Yeah.
or whatever. They didn't seed Ali Handal at all,
What?
Oh
who
really?
ended up like I think he got ninth, and he also got to winners finals. I think his team got second in the team tournament. So they didn't seed him, and they didn't seed Nasty Beetle, another like multiple time
Oh
top
yeah.
eight TNS, top eight PAX, God2 player. It's like they didn't seed Tenno. Tenno was like 300 something, and that was when I knew they hit random because I
Random.
had to eat. I had to ego check myself, and I told Tenno this. I had to ego check myself, right? I was like, although my top placements are the same as Tenno's or slightly better at the ones I have gone, he's been 10 times more active than me. He's constantly winning his locals. He's
Oh right,
constantly
right, right.
traveling to all the tournaments. He placed just as good as me at like CEO Common Breaker, and he went to like everything in the last year, and I didn't. You already know this because I had an off year because of real life stuff that kept me from traveling. Now we're back at it, yay!
Yay.
But knowing that Tenno's so active and he's played in everything and placed in everything, and they didn't seed him, that's how I knew they just hit random. They didn't give a shit. Because I was like, oh, maybe I'm just not active enough. Ego check. Nope. Look at this guy. Super active. Plays is amazing. Seeded 300 something. Didn't even get a bye. Had to like play someone the first round. And that fucks pulls up, man. That fucks everything up. Like Epic and Swing Blitz had to play like the second fight or something. And like that put Epic in losers. And that's a part of why he didn't make it
Yeah,
out of pools. And it's
yeah,
like that horrible seeding really ruins these, man. And Texas Showdown had the exact same issue. They had Hayes at 300 something or 250.
yeah,
They had Mega Clinton at like 280. We're talking about, Hayes, Austin's best player, Mega Clinton, Dallas's best player. We're talking about like top 4, top 5 dudes in Texas, and they're not seeding them. What are you doing? And
yeah. And
Black
they had
Pharaoh.
EXO at like third or something like that, and he had just started freaking the online. They had, not to cut you off, bro. They had EXO at like third, which I think EXO is great, but that was his first. Like he had just started competing like in
Yeah.
person, and
Mhm.
that we had this big long like it wasn't long, but it was a much needed, very serious conversation because as many as those. I have a big problem with, Swing Blitz not being seated, but Joy gets seated at, I don't know, whatever, ninth or whatever he was seated at or
Online
whatever it
shit.
is.
Yeah. Online.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's like, this is his first like, regional or like not local tournament, and I have a huge, huge, huge problem with that. Not that like I fully expect, Joy and EXO and those guys who have killed it online to make their name known, and it's already known, or
Guess what? Guess what?
establish
Uh,
themselves in the offline scene. You know what I'm saying?
But
I think they
yeah,
fully have the capacity to do that, but they should have the 100. They got to do it. You can't. The online scene is not a skip. It's not a skip into the offline being like a legitimized or you know what I'm saying, like um yeah, like a legitimized offline in the offline scene. It is not a skip. It's helpful if you already have offline experience, but if you were just online, you got to earn your way just like everybody else, and that didn't that doesn't happen. Like the skip happens too many times. You know what I'm saying? I have a huge problem with that. So and then like especially for like Swinblix goes to everything, man. Swinblix goes to everything. Like I can see. I think you said Epic like registered really late. So if you register like really late or something like that, I can understand you don't get seated, right? But like if I wouldn't have got seated or Tenno like how Tenno was seated or Swing Blitz like that's unacceptable. But Joy and EXO and Dapper get seated. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Dapper got a little bit more tournament experience, but that you understand my point.
I 100% agree with you. I think online placements shouldn't even count towards seeding, but if
Even
they
yeah,
do,
not at all.
if they do, they should just not take priority. But I mean, notice this: Joy has like what 2 accounts or something that are like both in the top 10 NA online, right, or whatever. But he still got 17th. He placed the
No,
same as
right.
me. And it's like, guess who outplaced them? Swing Blitz, Ollie Hundal, those guys that are fucking unseeded because they have
Right.
off experience. But it's
Right.
crazy
It
that
makes
they
a
were not
difference.
seeded.
It
I
makes a
don't
huge
take issue with Joy being seeded. I take issue with those other guys not being seeded. I would take issue with Joy if, Joy and the online players are seeded, top 1 or 2. That'd be super wild. But having at least some sort of seed so they don't have to. It'd be weird if Joy was completely unseeded and then Shadow got to play Joy like round 2 or something. That's no good either.
Well,
So
they
like,
said they. Well, I don't think that's. That's what somebody said. They were like, "So what do you want?" Because I said it shouldn't count at all, right? And so that's what would happen, right? Shadow would have to play Joy early in the seed or early in the pools, right? And I was like, "Yeah, that would be. I can see that not being like super favorable, right?" But I was like, "So what do you want to like?" I was like, well, he has to earn his name somehow. He has to get his like placement somehow. Like, and so what would be better? Like him not being seated and having to play Shadow, and you know, let's say if he wins, he wins or loses, whatever it is. Shadow's not gonna lose in losers, right? He's still gonna get to top 8, right? And Joy, if he beats Shadow, deserves to beat Shadow, right? So would you rather that or Joy gets seated at 7th in top 8, gets seated really high, be the top of his bracket in pools, right? Not play anybody difficult because he's the top of his pools, right? Get further than he quote unquote would have deserved to, and maybe like lose, go 4-2 or something like that, and get maybe like 95th or something like that. But he was seeded 7th, so his seed be super off. I
that's
think
too
the first
much.
one is better. I think the first one is better.
Yeah. I think
Because
a
like it's
mid-tier seed.
still gonna get streamed. That's just a hype. That's just a hype match in the beginning of the friggin' pools. Stream it. You know what I'm saying? You know who Joy is. You know who Shadow is. You know this is a big. This would be a big match that would take place later. You know what I'm saying? But he's just starting his freaking. And there's a good explanation for it. He's just starting his offline career or like his offline. He's establishing himself off in the offline scene. Put him on stream. You know what I'm saying? Let him freaking, if he wins, then he deserves to be there in that seed. If he loses, then you know what I'm saying? We get to see Joy perform on stream. Everybody wants they watch Joy and TNS, right? I'm sure a lot of people would be like, put Joy on stream. Come on stream. You know what I'm saying? There's anyway, I think the first one is way better. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Honestly.
Okay.
I think ideally the way I'd like to see it is offline players get priority in seeding, and then right, like let's say you're a top online player, you can get like mid-tier seeding, meaning like you can get seeded
Yeah.
right after like the mid-tier dudes offline, and
Right.
then you can work your way up. But I'd like to see some sort of seeding for them and not nothing.
I got you.
Um,
I got
but
you.
they
That's
should just
fair.
be back of the line type of shit,
I
and
got
then
you.
earn your way up.
Yeah.
And yeah. But anyway, the seating was just like I said. Those guys had offline results though, so why? I don't know. It's just complete. I don't know. I don't know who's doing the seatings, but these are the biggest regional tournaments in NA.
Yeah,
And you know what's crazy, dog? Frosty gets the same attendance as like the top majors in Europe. They be getting like 400 to 500 people. Let's be honest.
yeah,
So
they got to have some dedicated. I don't even know. I don't even know. But
knowledgeable Tekken
that
people,
won't
dude.
happen at Texas Showdown again. You know, we're gonna make sure that that don't happen at Texas Showdown. So the seating will be uh spot on. Or given a lot more attention to a Texas Showdown. I don't know why it happened. Um, and it's funny. I don't know if this happens like in Street Fighter. I don't hear that complaint with seating. I mean, I'm not in the Street Fighter community, but I don't really hear that complaint often with like I've heard others, but I don't really hear that complaint with the Street Fighter community about seating.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I mean, if I was a tournament organizer, and I have been for about 30 tournaments, when I had someone come from out of town or people that I didn't know, brother, I checked the start GG. It's like how I seed the people that I know that I'm knowledgeable on, and I know how they place and I know how they perform. I'm gonna seed those guys, and then the people that I don't know, I'm gonna click on that profile and I'm gonna look, and it's like, if anybody had just clicked on some of these profiles, they would see, top eights at PAX, top eights at previous Frosties, top eights at PAX, whatever, man, all that stuff. And it's just like,
Yeah, it's not
you
hard to
don't
get a
care.
freaking feel for how good they are. Yeah,
Yeah, and even when you see the Evo and the combo breakers, when people are placing within top 50, bro, when you get in the top 65 of those majors, that's all known players. That's all people who win
yeah,
their
that's
locals.
fact.
That's all
Yeah,
that's all like pro players, that's all like sponsored players, known players,
yeah,
like come on, man. When you see those placements, you got to know the industry enough to know that top 50 at Evo is somebody you're going to need to seed because that person's a
right,
fucking
right,
menace.
right.
But otherwise, that's pretty much it, man. I don't know. Like I said, I was always happy. Thank you, Russian and
Yeah, man.
Triple Victory for supporting and making this happen. And I get to travel and do the thing I love, and I get to represent a team I'm really proud of.
Yeah,
It
man,
was
we
a
gonna make
blast.
sure. I'm gonna make sure I don't miss you. I just need a shirt. I just need a If
You
I get
just
a
need a
shirt,
shirt.
like what I'm saying, we go put y'all on stream. We go put y'all on stream. I missed y'all this time. You know what I'm saying? But I got a lot of tournaments in the future. I'm not done. I still got to invade Dallas and invade and conquer Dallas because Dallas they like to talk. They like to run their mouth over there. So we go invade them over there. But yeah, yeah, I'm gonna put y'all on the stream because 100%. I just need a shirt. I just need a shirt.
Alrighty, we'll think about it.
Dudes, well, it's been a pleasure. And yeah, like I said, Frosty got a lot of things wrong. They got a lot of things right. We just move on to the next one, man.
All good. Next week we'll figure that out. I'm gonna end the stream right here, and then I got questions to leave.